Okay, let's unpack this. When you picture Japan, maybe, you think of Tokyo's dazzling neon lights, right? Or Kyoto's serene ancient temples.
Yeah, those are iconic, absolutely. But what if we told you that's really just scratching the surface?
Exactly. That there are, countless fascinating layers, these distinct personalities, different colors that make up the vibrant tapestry of the country.
That's exactly what we're diving into today. We've taken a stack of source material focusing on four specific, very different regions in Japan: Chiba, Kagawa, Kagoshima, and yes, even Tokyo itself, but looking beyond just the famous surface.
Right.
These sources, they offer a snapshot into their unique identities, their histories, and some surprising details of their daily lives.
And our mission for you, the listener, is basically to act as your guides through this material. We're going to try and extract the most essential insights, the surprising details, and sort of uncover the distinct soul that makes each of these places special.
Think of it as getting a shortcut to understanding the nuance of Japan, maybe seeing how its incredible diversity comes alive region by region, using these sources as our map.
Ready? Let's jump in then.
First up, we explore Chiba. The sources describe it as a gateway, with a really interesting dual identity.
Yeah, the core idea is Chiba's unique position. It's right next door to Tokyo, obviously, so it has this modern, almost suburban feel in many areas. But it also manages to hold on to its deep roots in traditional Japanese culture, its agrarian past and its coastal life. It's a real balancing act.
And you see that balance everywhere, don't you? The cultural elements show it clearly. You find Boship Peninsula folklore, traditional Shinto festivals, and maritime traditions shaped by, well, generations of fishing villages.
What's striking is the depth of history there, right next to the modern stuff. Narita-san Shinshoji Temple, for instance. Over 1,000 years old, still a major center for Buddhist pilgrimages.
Yeah, ancient.
But then the sources also highlight a much more recent, pivotal historical layer: the Narita airport protests back in the 1960s and 70s.
Right, and that event, it really raises an important question, doesn't it, about how development butts up against tradition.
Definitely.
The sources reported these protests drew national attention, becoming a powerful symbol of rural resistance against the massive urban expansion Tokyo's growth demanded. It really brings to light that tension.
Yeah, the tension between, preserving traditional ways of life and embracing rapid modernization. Makes sense.
And beyond that deep history, there are these incredibly accessible living traditions, too.
Oh, yeah, like the big festivals. You've got the Narita Gion Matsuri with its huge floats and the Sawara Matsuri. The sources mention its Edo-style flutes feel a bit like Kyoto's Gion Festival.
Exactly. And one charming detail, that family tradition during spring tides of heading to the beaches for shellfish digging, called shiohigari.
Ah, Shiopigari, I've heard of that.
That connection to the coast and the land, it shows up strongly in the food scene, too. It might surprise you, but Chiba is actually Japan's top peanut producer.
Really? Peanuts?
Yeah, so peanut snacks, even peanut ice cream, are a big deal there.
Oh.
The sources also point to traditional dishes like namaru, that chopped fish, miso, and herb dish fishermen originally made right on their boats.
Oh, wow, practical.
And arajiru, a hearty fish soup. And visually, the Futomaki Matsuri sushi is amazing, those decorative rolled sushi rolls with patterns inside, almost like edible art.
Right. Style-wise, being so close to Tokyo means daily life often looks pretty casual, suburban, maybe?
Yeah, pretty much. But then you have the vibrant traditional wear during festivals and that distinct laid-back beach fashion you see in surf towns along places like Kujikuri Beach.
And nature?
Yeah.
Surprisingly present in Chiba's identity as well.
Absolutely. You have coastal pine forests, and the sources mention wildlife like tanuki, the Japanese raccoon dogs, and green pheasants, which are actually the national bird. The Busu Peninsula, jutting out into the Pacific, is noted for its biodiversity.
And the landmarks really tell the story of that blend too, right? The Chiba Port Tower, the urban monorail, which holds a record apparently for being the longest suspended monorail system.
Wow.
Kujikuri Beach, stretching for miles. The massive Makuhari Messe Convention Center. And here's a fun fact from the sources. Disneyland Tokyo is actually located in Urayasu, Chiba.
Get out! Not Tokyo.
Nope, technically Chiba.
That's funny. Even the language reflects this unique mix. There's a distinct Chiba dialect, with some older Busuben phrases still lingering in rural areas.
And the tourism motto captures it. Sea, mountains, sky, Chiba has it all.
Yeah, and that welcoming catchphrase, Yukoso Chiba-e. Welcome to Chiba.
And what completely brings this blend to life is the song description in the source material for Chiba. It's called Surf Rock Meets Electro Folk, apparently.
Okay, interesting combo.
Yeah, it blends Japanese city pop with a breezy, beachy rhythm guitar, airy vocals, and traditional shamisen. The lyrics specifically mention the monorail running under cherry trees,
Nice image.
the waves crashing on Kujikuri, eating peanut ice cream, seeing tanuki watching from the trees, and the wind carrying the soul of Chiba. It even references morning Namari and the feeling of the Sawara townscape breathing Ito's past. It perfectly captures that layered identity.
That sounds spot on. Okay, moving on, let's head west across the sea to Kagawa, known affectionately, as we know, as the Udon Prefecture.
Right. Everyone knows Kagawa for its amazing udon noodles. But the sources quickly make it clear, calling it just the Udon Prefecture really misses so much. It has this incredibly deep artistic and spiritual tradition.
Exactly. Historically, it was part of Sanuki Province on the Seto Inland Sea, a crucial maritime route. It's famously a key stop, actually the starting point for many on the Shikoku 88 Temple pilgrimage.
One of Japan's great spiritual journeys.
hmm And it's home to Ritsuren Garden in Takamatsu, which the sources describe as one of Japan's most beautiful feudal gardens, a masterpiece of landscape design perfected over centuries.
Wow. And those traditions are very visible, right?
Yeah.
You literally see pilgrims walking the routes in their white robes and conical hats.
You do, yeah. There's the lively Sanuki Takamatsu Festival, and yes, they totally lean into the udon fame with a unique Udon Day celebration.
Of course they do.
But while udon is king, Kagawa's cuisine holds other surprises, the sources reveal. Did you know Kagawa was the first place in Japan to successfully cultivate olives?
Olives. Really?
Uh.
In Japan?
Yeah, especially on Shidoshima Island. That's fascinating. They also produce exquisite wasanbon sugar, that fine traditional sweetener, and renowned Shidoshima soy sauce aged in old wooden barrels.
Interesting. Clothing styles often feature the symbolic pilgrim attire, which is
Mhm.
very distinct, obviously.
Very, but then you go to the famous art islands like Noshima, and the style shifts completely. It's much more casual, almost bohemian or minimalist, influenced by the blend of avant-garde art and the natural island environment.
Right, that makes sense. Nature and art are profoundly intertwined here, then.
Absolutely. Olive trees aren't just for oil, they're a symbol of the region. And Kagawa is actually home to the largest bonsai tree growing area in Japan.
The largest, wow.
But the most unique concept is definitely the art islands, like Noshima and Toshima, where contemporary art museums and installations are literally built into and interact with the natural landscape.
Mm.
The sources even mention that Isamu Noguchi, the renowned sculptor, had a studio there drawn by the stone and light.
That's incredible. And key locations paint this picture. Takamatsu, the capital city with Ritsuren Garden, and the main ferry hub.
Yeah, the gateway to the islands.
Shidoshima Island, famous for its olives and soy sauce. Nooshima, the globally recognized art island with stunning architecture by Taro Ando.
The Pritzker Prize winner, yeah. His stuff is amazing.
And the historic Morrigan Castle with its impressive stone walls.
Their language and identity playfully embrace their noodle fame, too. You'll hear the soft, melodic Shikoku accent. And while they're proud of their udon, their official tourism catchphrase sums up that depth we're talking about. Udon Prefecture. But that's not all there is to Kagawa.
Huh. I like that. It's a nod to the noodles, but an insistence on recognizing the art, history, and nature, too.
Exactly.
And the song description for Kagawa perfectly captures this gentle, artistic soul. It's described as dream folk fusion meets Japanese city pop ballad,
Okay.
with a peaceful, almost meditative island rhythm and an art-forward feel. It uses traditional instruments like shamisen, biwa, taiko, and sho.
A real blend.
Yeah, the lyrics speak of the island breeze walking the pilgrim's path, the glint of Shidoshima olives, the quiet dreams found on Naoshima, the way light filters through Undo's architecture,
Wow, specific.
the long shadows of bonsai trees, and how stillness transforms into song and painting, with kindness soaking in like the rich broth of, well, udon, of course. It really connects the art, spirituality, and the region's defining food.
That sounds beautiful. Okay, let's journey much further south now to Kagoshima, the proud, resilient land of fire and samurai spirit.
Okay, this region has a truly powerful, almost elemental character. The sources refer to it as the Naples of the East because of its bay and the ever-present active volcano Sakurajima.
Right, rising right out of the water.
It's defined by this dramatic nature, its deep samurai heritage, incredible regional pride, and a resilience forged by literally living with the volcano.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture of Japanese history, Kagoshima, or the Satsuma domain as it was known, played a massive, often fierce role.
Huge role.
Led by the powerful Shimazu clan, they were key players in overthrowing the shogunate and driving the Meiji Restoration that modernized Japan. They were also famously the location of the last great samurai uprising, the Satsuma Rebellion, led by Saigo Takamori.
Ah, Seiyu Takamori, a big name.
Yeah, who became a deeply complex symbol of loyalty, resistance, and the end of an era. And a fascinating detail the sources highlight. Satsuma was actually the first Japanese domain to seriously engage with the West, adopting Western technology and military methods long before the rest of the country.
Really? The first? That's significant.
Yeah, and the constant presence of Sakurajima is more than just scenery. It's a way of life.
How so?
Well, the sources talk about how the region has been devastated by eruptions over centuries, but has always been rebuilt with immense pride. Living with the volcano makes everyday things like checking the ash forecast or incorporating onsen bathing, soaking in the hot springs, heated by the volcanic activity, almost ritualized parts of local life.
Wow, you just adapt. Popular traditions are vibrant here too, I gather.
Oh, yeah. There's the enormous Ohara Matsuri Festival, one of the largest in southern Kyushu, with thousands dancing in the streets. You also find traditional Satsuma Biwa performances, that musical storytelling often recounting samurai tales and dramatic Kagura dances.
And the food scene sounds unique,
Yeah.
deeply tied to their identity in agriculture.
Very much so. Kurabuta, the black Berkshire pork, is legendary, a source of immense local pride.
I've heard of kurobuta.
Kagoshima is also Japan's top producer of imo shochu, that distinct spirit distilled from sweet potatoes, which, incidentally, are called satsuma imo here, and are incredibly famous.
Ah, the sweet potatoes.
You'll also find fresh kiminago sashimi from their waters, and a richer, heartier southern style of tonkotsu ramen.
Sounds delicious. What about clothing? Does it reflect the heritage?
It can, yeah. You'll see celebrations of samurai-era fashion. They also use cooling fabrics, which is essential in the southern heat. And an interesting detail from the sources noted about school uniforms in Kagoshima
Yeah.
is they often retain a more old-school, even slightly militaristic cut. Some see it as a subtle nod to the region's proud samurai past.
Huh. Interesting detail. Nature here sounds incredibly diverse and dramatic too.
Definitely. You find the world's largest radish, the Sakurajima daikon, grown in the volcanic ash soil.
World's largest radish.
The landscape is lush with bamboo and tropical flowers. Wildlife includes tanuki and macaques, and sea turtles famously nest on beaches, particularly around Yakushima Island.
Ah, Yakushima. That mystical UNESCO World Heritage Site known for its ancient cedar forests. The sources confirm a really cool pop culture connection there, right?
They do. Yakushima is widely believed to have inspired the magical forest in the famous Studio Ghibli animation Princess Mononoke.
That totally fits the vibe. Ancient, wild nature.
It really does. And the people themselves are described as kind, direct, and possessing intense regional pride. The sources mention they sometimes joke about being from another Japan because their identity, history, and even dialect feel so distinct.
Right, like Saigo Takamori still looms large in their collective memory.
Absolutely. And their language, Satsuma-ben, is famously one of the most unique dialects in Japan. So different from standard Tokyo Japanese
How different.
that the sources note it was reportedly even used as a kind of code during WWII.
Wow. Like phrases like "washoy" as an exclamation.
Exactly, or oi, meaning I, or me, shows how distinct it is. Their tourism motto really captures the feeling. Kagoshima, where people and nature shine in the southern land.
Nice. This connection to earth, fire, resilience, and that fierce, proud spirit must come through in the song description.
Oh, it absolutely bursts through. It's described as folk song, slide guitar, shamisen, gritty folk edge, using instruments like taiko drums for power, shanshin.
You Okinawa one instrument?
Yeah, reflecting those southern ties. Plus, biwa and shakuhachi flute. The lyrics talk about Sakurajima's smoke and quiet rage, the song of fire and earth, the Satsuma soul burning and rising, Saigo's eyes still watching.
Powerful imagery.
Reflecting in shochu, the steam rising from black pork and the feeling of shouting, "This is my true home." It's incredibly evocative.
Wow. Okay, finally we arrive at the epicenter, the city that means Japan to so many people.
Tokyo. As these sources present it, it's the ultimate city of dualities, isn't it? It's where ultra-modern innovation, like robots and cutting-edge tech, doesn't just exist alongside centuries-old tradition like kabuki theater or ancient shrines. They're often found on the same block, inhabiting the same space.
It's that constant contrast. Neon versus nature. Incredible speed versus moments of unexpected serenity.
And its history is one of relentless transformation and resilience. Starting as the humble fishing village of Edo, it became the shogun's capital and then Japan's capital during the Meiji Restoration.
And faced utter devastation, not once, but twice.
Right, first by the Great Kanto earthquake in the 1920s, and then by the fire bombings of WWII. Yet it was reborn each time. Hosting the Olympics both in '64 and again in 2020 became powerful symbols of its recovery and modernity.
A stage for so much political and cultural history.
Definitely. Popular traditions in Tokyo often happen on a grand scale or are woven into the urban fabric. Millions make the first shrine visit of the year, Hatsumote, often at Meiji Shrine.
Huge crowds.
Cherry blossom viewing, or hanami, takes over parks like Ueno and Inokashira. You have the historic sumo tournaments, incredibly dynamic festivals like Asakusa Sanja Matsuri, which is huge and pretty rowdy.
Tokyo is undeniably Japan's music capital, too. The sources cover its incredible range, right?
Oh, yeah. It's home to the manufactured phenomenon of J-pop idols like AKB48 and Akihabara, but also the sophisticated sounds of city pop, the theatricality of visual kei, cutting-edge electronic music, and a vibrant punk scene.
And different neighborhoods have their own distinct music flavors.
Exactly. Shimokitazawa is known for indie bands, Shibuya for pop and dance music, and Koenji for punk and alternative scenes. Something for everyone, really.
And the food scene. Where do you even start? It's mind-bogglingly diverse.
It really is. Idomai sushi, the style most people recognize globally, originated here. Shoyu, the soy sauce-based ramen, is a classic Tokyo staple. Tsukishima has its unique mojiaki.
The savory pancake thing.
Yeah. Vibrant street food thrives, especially in older areas like Asakusa. And something surprising, the sources point out, while Tokyo has the most Michelin-starred restaurants in the world,
Right, famous for that.
the quality and cultural significance of top-tier convenience store food is also a genuine point of pride.
Huh. That's actually kind of amazing. Fashion and style are a huge part of Tokyo's identity, too, another area where that duality really shines.
For sure. You see traditional wear like kimono and hakama, particularly around temples or on special occasions. But then there are the globally influential expressive street styles of Harajuku and Omotesando, or the sleek, high-fashion elegance of Ginza.
Tokyo isn't just following trends, it's often setting them.
Absolutely. What's fascinating is how much green space is woven into this concrete jungle, too.
Yeah, you wouldn't necessarily expect it.
Despite being a megacity, Tokyo has beautiful, meticulously designed urban gardens like Rikujian and Koishikawa Korakuen, iconic trees like cherry blossoms and ginkgos line streets and parks. And you do find urban wildlife, famously large crows, koi fish in ponds, and even scattered tanuki statues as a nod to folklore amidst the towers.
Tokyo is also the undisputed center for so much of what we consider Japanese pop culture, anime, manga, video games, cutting-edge fashion, tech innovation, and film.
The hub for all that.
Mhm.
Tokyoites themselves are often described as efficient, stylish, and maybe somewhat private. The sources note a strong work culture, but also a deep pride in their specific city identity.
Language-wise, the standard Japanese that's taught and used nationally is essentially the Tokyo dialect, right?
Pretty much, yeah, it's the national reference point. But you also find vibrant youth slang, particularly originating from places like Shibuya,
Like what?
with phrases like majid, meaning seriously, or really, yabai, which can mean anything from amazing to terrible or just wow, and ukuru, meaning that's hilarious.
Huh? Okay. Tourism slogans for Tokyo often play on that old meets new idea, like Tokyo, Tokyo.
Makes sense. And the song description for Tokyo absolutely encapsulates this dynamic energy and duality. It's Japanese city pop revival meets electro-funk, J-hip-hop,
Pardon me?
creating a retro-futuristic nightlife vibe. It mentions neon lights, the speed of the trains, digital dreams, and the urban rush. The lyrics specifically paint this picture. Shrine bells ringing next to vending machines.
Perfect Tokyo image.
Kimono shadows meeting neon seas, the heartbeat felt at the famous Shibuya crosswalk, the past and future holding hands, cherry blossoms next to sensors, scooping goldfish at a festival next to virtual idols, taiko drums shifting into electronic beats, the old Edo heart pulsing beneath the metro dreams, and the feeling that all of it is Tokyo. This is my story. It's that constant collision and harmony.
So wrapping this up then,
Yeah.
what's truly remarkable is how these sources allowed us to take this deep dive into the distinct identities of these four regions. You really see Chiba's beautiful balance.
Yeah, nature, tradition, suburban life.
Kagawa's gentle, artistic, and spiritual soul.
Very distinct.
Kagoshima's proud resilience forged by fire, earth, and samurai heritage.
That powerful spirit.
And Tokyo's endless dynamic duality, where everything seems to coexist and transform.
And as we saw in each case, the music described in the sources isn't just background noise. It acts as a unique cultural fingerprint, often taking traditional sounds or regional themes and blending them with modern genres to create something new, but deeply rooted in that specific place's character.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, while each region has its unique color or soul, there are powerful shared threads running through them all, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. You see the constant presence of historical layers right alongside cutting-edge modern life, that deep connection to nature, even in the densest urban spaces or next to active volcanoes.
Right. And a strong, unmistakable sense of regional pride, even if it's expressed in different ways.
Exactly. For you, the listener, getting a handle on these specific, nuanced regional identities provides a much richer, more textured understanding of Japan as a whole.
Yeah, it challenges the idea that Japan is just one thing or, a few famous landmarks.
It's a complex, dynamic tapestry woven with these diverse, vibrant threads, and we were able to uncover these specific insights about the culture, history, and identity of these four places directly from the source material we looked at.
So what does this all mean? As you think about this deep dive we took, maybe consider how these different colors or souls of Japan, from Kagoshima's fire and earth to Kagawa's gentle melody, Chiba's balanced blend, and Tokyo's dynamic duality, aren't isolated.
Good point. How do they interact, influence, and sometimes push against each other? How might this incredible, rich tapestry of regional identities continue to shape Japan's future, its art, its technology, its place in the world?
Yeah, definitely something to mull over.